So there might not be a harder question to ask yourself when you're painting than is this finished? And there's so many ways to ask this question. But if you look at some of the most famous paintings that we are all familiar with, there's no doubt that they stopped. The artist stopped at the right time. They didn't put in too much. They didn't put in too little, and they answered a lot of the questions that I'm going to suggest you ask yourself as you're nearing the end and you're wondering, is this painting finished? There are actually a few things you can consider that all of these paintings I'm showing now definitely answered yes to. And that's why they were successful paintings and why there's something that are, steeped into all of our lives and the collective consciousness of all of us of kind of in agreement of why they're good paintings. One question you can ask yourself, am I moving the eyes around the painting? And in an more abstract painting, that's kind of more clear. In a Pollock, the splatters are moving our eyes around the painting in a certain way. There's an energy, and the success is pretty apparent. Same with even in Cubism with Picasso. Even though kind of a lot of the things that would move our eye around have been removed, still in the planes and the geometry, my eyes move around the painting in a certain way. But even contemporary, like even in portrait, in Jenna Gribben, you can see we are being moved across the model, her muse, in a certain way by the legs, the yellow of the hammock. She's very skillful at moving her eye around the painting with the projection of the body and the body parts where she places color. Another question to ask yourself, does everything seem intentional? Does anything seem haphazard? In these paintings, no. Every single choice the artist made very clearly. Look at how the light and dark of Velázquez, it's very clear. Wayne Thiebaud, how the colors of the cakes, the placement of the lute, this is all very intentional. Where the cigarettes are inserted in the other objects, very important because it's moving our eye around in a certain way, very intentional. Is there a mood? Obviously, in this Van Gogh, there's a lot of tragedy. There's a deep mood in it. It's easier to do that maybe in a sad winsome, but even this one, there's a mood in this glowing in the palette. Florian Stedheimer often inserted a joyous kind of raucous mood. Catherine Bradford, has these kind of sad, lonely narratives. So there's a mood of loneliness and isolation often that she doubles down with her palette, her nocturne palette. Magritte, surrealism often had kind of a spooky mood. Rothko, obviously, a depressing mood. But yeah, so ask yourself, is there any mood to this? And if not, what could I do? What could I insert, to make it more raucous or make it more sad? That's what Florence Stedheimer did. She inserted a lot of things. Same with Frida Kahlo. Look at that background. That adds to the mood. What is the weakest part of your painting? So I'm going to show my own paintings after I show you this Alma Thomas, where there's clearly no weak part in it. You look at this, there's nothing that would be changed to make this any more perfect. But to show the opposite, I'm going to show this as my painting, not so good. It just doesn't have this one. It was just too much going on. I couldn't make it work. This one, again, I often do too much. There's no eye traveling around in any of these. The eye is not traveling around. There's just too much of the same thing. This is too bland for me. It just wasn't working. This I'm going to show you. This is before and after, and I think the before is better. I think I should have stopped because the after is not as good. Anyway. On the flip side, this is an example of knowing I needed more, knowing it wasn't finished, is it was not enough contrast. The palette was too similar, so I went in and I added a really simple change. I added these 3 pieces of fruit in a different kind of warmer field, and I think that worked. This is one I'm grappling with. There's just not enough happening in it. This one does not have enough details. If you look at like the cherries on the left, it's just not enough. This is just too much. I went too far. And a question we ask a lot in class, is there tension or harmony? Like, look at the tension in this Dolly. The tension in this Magritte, like that, castle's about to fall over the edge, versus like just the harmony in Joan Mitchell, always. she's always just able to create this sense of, beauty and harmony. Same with these amazing, like complicated but just harmonious wildflower scapes. A lot of biblical ones are super tense, like someone's being expelled all the time. The addition of the people in front makes this, and their scale makes it interesting, intense, harmonious. Keith Haring, everything he did was in, the composition was just pitch perfect. Same with Georgia O'Keeffe. There's always so much harmony in her pieces. Then, a basic question is it beautiful? Again, yes to Joan Mitchell, yes, always. And obviously some flower pictures can be more beautiful, but like this Alma Thomas abstract is absolutely beautiful as well. The more kind of pastoral, like the scenes that we're used to, the Impressionists. But what about Shamsutain? Like, I think that's beautiful. You might not. Surrealism, George Tucker, not a traditional beautiful, but I would answer yes to that question. So we'll see you later and finish some paintings, I hope, and ask ourselves collectively some of those questions. Okay, bye.